Hello everybody, it's your boy the Almighty Green Talent bringing you a video of today's events. But before I get right into this video, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to this video. Please don't forget to smash the likes on YouTube and don't forget to smash the hearts on TikTok. And these videos continue to progress moving forward into today's events. Now these events pertain to the Eagles training camp. Training camp started today, and teams are now getting prepared and getting ready for the season to begin. And this is something that we all been waiting for a long period of time. And trust me, I've been waiting for it for a while too, and I'm quite sure a lot of you fans has as well. Now, the strange thing about this now and what's really going on is that it's going to be training camp battles. The battles are the most important ones in training camps. And let's go ahead and start with the defense, because I'm a defensive-minded guy, so it's very important that I discuss defense first. The Eagles have issues at the cornerback safety position. They haven't figured out who's going to start, because if you guys remember last season, Darius Slay and Bradbury have been getting picked on last season because they have changed different defensive coordinators. First, they started out with Sean Desai, who was the defensive coordinator at the beginning of the season, midway during the season. But when the bye week came and went, they switched to another defensive coordinator, which was I forgot the board name, but he was defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, and he was a head coach for the Detroit Lions. I can't think of his name off the bat, but he was an assistant, or should I say a senior advisor on defense last season. And so the Eagles decided to go away from Sean Desai, who a lot of NFL fans are saying that Sean Desai defense wasn't really that bad. And the thing about it, it really wasn't. It's just that the Eagles had a lot of vulnerability at the front four position, because see, you gotta look at Jordan Davis, and you gotta look at Jalen Carter. Now, Jalen Carter was a first-round pick last year, and the year before was Jordan Davis. So those guys are going into their third and second NFL season respectively. And to be honest with you, Jalen Carter started off real well in week one, and he started slowing down probably around after the game, the game against the Buffalo Bills. When they played the Bills last year, Jalen Carter started slowing down then, and Davis started picking up the steam later. But when Jordan Davis played the Bills last season, you got to remember he chased Josh Allen out of the pocket and ran him down, but he actually missed him, and he fell. When he fell, he was down on that ground for a long period of time. And ever since then, Jordan Davis had not been the same the rest of the way. He had been triple teamed and double teamed him along with Carter. They haven't been able to get pressure with the front four, so that left the linebackers in zone coverage, which I'm gonna get to linebacker later on in the game, in the video, as well as the cornerback position and safety. But those guys were left on the island last season because they used certain players in position in zone coverages, and some of the guys they used zone coverage was not made for zone coverage. And when you're not made for zone coverage and you make the tackle and see, that's why they call it zone coverage. Because when you're in zone, I mean you tackle in space. And the Eagles had a couple of linebackers that were not capable of tackling in space, and that would make them vulnerable over the middle of the field, where tight ends and wide receivers were catching balls over the top. That was the vulnerability last season. So, with that being said, and go ahead and get to the linebacker. Like I mentioned earlier, the Eagles had Morrow, who is not a zone coverage linebacker. Morrow is a downhill linebacker, which means he tackles on the run. If you guys remember, in one of them games last year, he had 3 sacks and had like 4 or 5. I think he finished like 4 or 5 or 50 tackles at the end of the season, and he had 3 sacks, which was a career high for him, or for any Eagles linebacker for that matter. And then we had the other boy, Zach, who came over all the way from the Tennessee Titans, and he played. He was actually he was a free agent. The Eagles bought him in, and then they also bought the other boy too, Myron. I can't think of his name, but he wound up retiring. But when he actually retired, he wound up unretiring and wound up playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He signed with them, and it just there's so much going on with this Eagles linebacking unit. The Eagles did not have any set linebackers because they were putting different linebackers in the position to make plays, and it didn't work for them. And that's one of the reasons why Eagles got picked on in the middle of the field. Now let's make our way to the DB position. Need I say more? Bradbury got picked on all season last year. The Eagles tried to put him, the Eagles defensive coordinator tried to put him in zone coverage, and he is not a zone coverage cornerback. He is not a safety playing in the box. That's not Bradbury's position. Bradbury is made to, he's a physical corner that makes take on physicality while receivers at the, he is made to take on wide receivers at the point of attack, which means that if they're coming off the line, he has to be able to push them off their routes. That's what Bradbury is actually made to do. He did that when he with the New York Giants, and he did it with the Eagles up to the Eagles to change defensive coordinators. The same could be said with Slay. Same way with Slay. The Eagles try to put Slay in zone because it didn't work. You got two. Slay is a cornerback. He has the ability to cover a cornerback. He in other words, he can shadow a wide receiver. That's what Slay does. Bradbury cannot cover. He cannot cover, and he definitely cannot shadow a receiver. That's not his strong suit. Then guy jams wide receivers at the point of attack. That's what Bradbury does. When he jams wide receiver, he has the ability to make tackles. That what Bradbury is more physical than Slay. Slay is a finesse cornerback. Bradbury is a physical cornerback. Bradbury, he will tackle you. That's what the Eagles did with him last year. They put him in more zone coverages, and they also put him in safety in the box formation, and that what took away his main strength. And when you got a guy like Reno, what was his name? Reno, the rookie cornerback from last year, he's not in his second year. When you had him playing and Eli Ricks playing, those two guys were getting picked on that way because you put inexperienced players in position to make plays when they're not able to make plays at their position. So now that goes into this new defensive coordinator who a lot of people, who he's supposed to be the so-called architect of the defense the Eagles now employing. The Eagles now employing a 3-4 defensive scheme. This is where Jordan Davis has lost weight in the offseason. If you got a guy that looks slim down and he's muscular, he's toned up. The same could be said for Carter. Carter also toned up this past season. So you got guys who want to make an impact right away. And with that being said, the Eagles made some changes in the draft this year. They drafted some corners and they drafted some linebackers. So these guys are on the mission to get back to the playoff hunt, to get to the Super Bowl and win it. We had a chance to get to the Super Bowl last year, but if you guys remember, the Eagles had eight of the last 10 games, because the Eagles won 2 games before they started going on that streak, that long losing streak. The Eagles lost what was it? They were 11. They were 11-6. 11-6. The Eagles lost 6 of the last 8 games going into the playoffs, and they won and they lost in the playoffs against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they beat earlier last season. And don't get me wrong, Tampa Bay is a very good defensive team. They're very good. I mean, defense and offensive team. They're very good. But the Eagles were outmatched, outplayed, and out-coached by a Tampa Bay team that went to the playoffs, went to the second round of the playoffs and lost to the Detroit Lions. So that should give you some implications right there of how bad the Eagles were on defense and offense, because the Eagles were playing the same old offense, same stalemate offense whole season. Team caught on, and the New York Jets is a prime example. The Eagles beat the New York Jets 12 years straight. But to go into New York and let New York outplay you on defense and on offense, and you lose to a team you have dominated for years. See, I said this a long time ago. The Eagles got this long streak against New York Jets. I said at some point in time, the Eagles, that streak, the Eagles got New York Jets will snap. And as sure as shit stank, that record is now done. The Eagles now 12-1 against the New York Jets. And I knew that was going to happen at some point because the Eagles been playing bad. They played bad after they played bad after the Tampa Bay game. Then they played the New York Jets, lost to the Jets, and win the game against Miami. So the Eagles game was stalemate from week 1 to week 6 until they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, I believe. Or it might have been Philly, I'm not exactly sure what. Then you go up to New York and stinking New York and then beat the Miami Dolphins. So that doesn't go to show right there how bad the Eagles defense was early in the season, going into the last several games after the bye week. It's just so much frustration with the team, the same offense that teams have caught on to. If you guys remember the defensive scheme when the Eagles played the New England Patriots at New England, week 1 of the game, the Eagles, the New England Patriots were playing a lot of zone defensive schemes, which means that they were rushing forward and leaving players in zone coverage. So it means if you toss that ball over the middle of the defense, they can pick it off or battle it down. Eagles faced this defensive scheme all season long. They even faced it against the Miami Dolphins, but you would think that they would have learned from the Miami Dolphins game or learned from the Jets game to get as far as they did. But when you go 11-7, or actually 11-6, and then you lose against the Tampa Bay Bucks, the team you beat early in the year, you lose that bad against Tampa Bay. What was it? 35-10. I think that's what it was. I think 35-10. I think the Eagles scored only one touchdown score in that game, and they kicked it actually was. I think it was like, what was it? I think it was 17-3. I think that's what it was going into that into that halftime. Tampa Bay was up by many points. I think that's what it was. They were up by so many points. It was scary. And coming back into this game, the Eagles score up, but then they still want them losing this game to Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the playoffs. So the Eagles offense was bad then, and Eagles offense and defense was so bad. Fletcher Cox and Kelsey, both guys retired this off season. That's how bad it was. So you can't really say anything. So you really can't be mad at Fletcher, and you can't be mad at Jason, because these two guys are future Hall of Fame players. They definitely gonna make the Ring of Fame, both of them, by the Eagles. But Kelsey had more chance to make the Hall of Fame than Fletcher Cox. But Fletcher Cox could get in. He could be a sneaky player to make the Hall of Fame. I hope he does, because he got 70 sacks, and he's a 3-time Pro Bowl, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and 1-team first-team All-Pro. So he had 1 first-team All-Pro, but he could make the Hall of Fame. But I think the second-team All-Pro, both of them, are gonna hurt him. I think that's what it was. So excuse me, y'all, I can keep going back because the light's going out. But I think that's gonna hurt Fletcher Cox. It really is. But it's a possibility he could get in. If he get in, that'd be wonderful. But man, I mean, the offense that they were calling last year, then you got players, and then you got teams, and then you got coaches, I mean, who took the blame for it. Brian Johnson, the Eagles offensive or quarterback coach the previous year before becoming head coach this year. And he had head coach before becoming offensive coordinator this year, last year, after Shane Steichen left in the offseason for the coach job at Indianapolis. So, I mean, he took the bullet, and that's why he was removed and fired, and now he with the Washington Redskins. I think he's the assistant offensive coordinator and quarterback coach over there. And offensive coordinator is Cliff's son, I forgot his name, but he's the offensive coordinator over there, and Shane and Brian Johnson can learn a lot from that guy. So I mean, it is so much going on with the Philadelphia Eagles right now, and it's a lot of questions on offense, a lot of questions on defense. But let's not forget the addition that was signed this offseason. Let's not forget the biggest addition of all, and that is Barkley, who the Eagles signed to a 3-year, $37.75 million deal, $27 million guaranteed. I believe he's going to do real well in his offense because the Eagles need a true running back that can pound the middle of defenses, and Barkley has the ability to do that. But will the Eagles implement the tush push? I think they should. And you got two big guys back there. Now you got Barkley and then you got Hurts, two guys who could push the pocket. So the Eagles might create some new ideas for the tush push. They need to, because the reason why I say that is because if you watch the Tampa Bay playoffs game, the Eagles went for the tush push, and one of the linebackers from Tampa Bay initiated it. One of the guys actually went low. When he went low, that stopped the tush push right there. And one of the linebackers grabbed Hurts' helmet and pulled his helmet to the side so to keep it from going. So that right there was pretty much the end of the tush push, in my opinion. So the Eagles need to create some new ideas for the tush push. They need to create some new ideas. They need to start passing from it, or they need to run from it. You need to do something with it this year to create something new for this offense, because now that's why they brought in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore supposed to implement some schemes that the Eagles haven't used last season up until the year before. The year before, with 2021, they did that. In 22, they did that. 23 last season, they didn't do that. Now what he bring in this season and what they did 2 years ago, 2022. So if the Eagles, if they can bring that back, that would be a very, very well-received remission for the Eagles' offensive line, because the Eagles need to get back to running the football. They need to get back to going back to tight end screen. Because the Eagles, that's the other thing too. The Eagles had not used tight end screens at all last year. I think they're gonna bring that back as well. They got to figure out some way to keep the ball to Adam Goddard, because Adam Goddard like going in zone. He like running the zone schemes, going inside, getting the ball, and then shooting them up the field for first downs. So they need to bring back the tight end screens. Wide receiver screens need to be off. Because the reason why I say that is because last year they used the wide receiver screen with Smith last year, and Smith wound up getting hit real hard because that play was recognizable, and some cornerback came back and knocked him silly. So wide receiver screen need to be out of this game. Need to be out the playbook. In other words, they need to bring back the wide receiver motion. They bring that back. That would be a welcome addition to this offense. So Kellen Moore has a lot of work to do with this offense going forward to implement what he knows, bring it back what the Eagles haven't used last year that they used the previous year. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wasted 18 minutes of you guys. I know I had to go back and forth because lights were going out. So, and other than that, that is the training camp news today, and what I had to talk about. More training camp news to come, or more training camp video for that matter. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to this video. I've gone over 18 minutes of the video, so it's more like not gonna make TikTok, because TikTok only do 10 minutes, and now I'm over 19 minutes of the video, and so this video is gonna go on YouTube, but I will do a second video letting people on TikTok to go to my YouTube page and let them watch it there so they can be aware of it. So anyway, this is your boy Almighty Green Talent, bringing you some training camp news and training camp things that need to happen going forward, because training camp in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks now, and after the training camp, you have the preseason game, which is 3, and they want to do 2 next year. That they want to get rid of 1 and make it 2 preseason games instead of 3. Remember now, we had 4 before, then they went to 3. It's been 3 for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Now they want to do 2. So I'm hoping that they stick with 3 and make it that way that where these players can get in shape and get ready for the season. Because teams, well, we are looking forward to the NFL season to come back the way it is. The Eagles need to come back and start off smart, because the first game is going to be in Brazil. I know I will do a video on that where I can do watching the game, because it's supposed to be on, I think it's on Peacock, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's on Peacock. I don't have Peacock, so I'm gonna have to get that to watch that game. If not, I will be watching. I will be live streaming on this on my tablet, and when I do that, I'll be fantastic. Then I do a video on that and let you guys know how it went, my opinions, and who made the play, who didn't make plays. Did we win? Did we lose? How many points we win by? How many points did we lose by? So many things to talk about. So anyway, you guys enjoy your Tuesday, and check out the video on YouTube. Smash the likes, notification bell on top, and don't forget to also comment after this video is complete. Let me know what you guys think about this video. And I am out of here. The Almighty Green Talent sign off. Peace.